Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video, we're talking about Linux, Launchbox, some other games, and possibly more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about Linux, and today is technically one of Linux's birthdays. It celebrates its 32nd birthday. So interestingly enough, Linux kind of has three different birthdays. August 25th, 1991, which was its announcement on a mailing list. September 17th, 1991, which was the release of the very first version. And October 5th, 1991, which was its announcement of availability. Most people take September 17th, but some people use October 5th and August 25th. And speaking about birthdays, next up we're talking about emulation front-end Launchbox, which is celebrating its 10th birthday. And there may be a sale that's happening next week for a pretty deep discount. Nothing has been officially announced just yet, and if you head to their website, there are no discounts to be seen. But I may have some inside information here that there may be a pretty significant discount in the realm of about 50%, similar to their Black Friday sale, the only other time that they have a sale. So if you are in the market for a Launchbox license, you may want to pay attention to their website next week. And as soon as I know more, you'll know more. Next up, we're talking about Baldurs Gate 3, and today patch 1 released, which fixes over 1,000 bugs. It's a pretty big update. In terms of performance, patch 1 is mainly just a bug fix patch. It fixes stuff like NPCs spotting you when they really shouldn't. For performance, we're going to have to wait for patch 2, which we won't be waiting long for. And they say here, patch 2 is going to contain significant performance improvements, and we'll know more closer to its release. And on a quick side note here, if you wanted to read through the changes, I'll drop a link to the changelog in the description below, and feel free to check it out. There are a lot of changes here, so you may be reading for quite a while. Next up, we're quickly talking about Stunt Car Racer on the Commodore 64, but it's not on the Commodore 64, it's on the Commodore Plus 4. Yes, someone ended up porting this game to that system. The developer put together a blog on how they were able to get the Commodore 64 version working on the Commodore Plus 4. If you wanted to read it, I'll drop a link in the description below. It's a very interesting read for a very interesting game. Next up, we're talking about Starfield, and this is not great news for the person who has been leaking a whole bunch of stuff about it. Apparently, they have been booked on a felony charge after trying to sell stolen copies, as reported by Kotaku. So they say here there's a few different charges. A felony charge for $2,500 to $10,000 worth of stolen property. A misdemeanor charge for $1,000 or less of stolen property. And a misdemeanor charge for possession of marijuana. I've heard a few different stories on how this person obtained the games in the first place. I've heard that they stole them. I've heard that they bought them legitimately, in which case if they're selling them, I don't think that's illegal. Maybe it is, I don't know. And the third charge here, the marijuana charge, if they're in Canada, that wouldn't have been an issue. Anyways, it looks like he was selling them for $200 to $250 each. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Next up, we're talking about BlazBlue, but not as a fighting game as you may be used to. It has a 2D side-scroller that looks pretty interesting. It's called BlazBlue Entropy Effect, and it's in early release right now on Steam. I've taken a look at some gameplay on YouTube, and I put this one on my list to check out in the future. If you're interested in it, let me know in the comments below. Next up, we're talking about a brand new retro gaming handheld from Powkiddy, the RGB30, which was released today. This one's interesting. It features a 1:1 aspect ratio screen, not a 4:3, not a 16:9. And it does feature the RK3566 CPU. I'll drop a link to the website in the description below where you can see the pre-sale. It's currently priced at $90 and up based on whatever package you get. Next up, we're talking about AMD, and today AMD gave us our first look at FSR 3, which is pretty darn impressive. The game they're showcasing is Forspoken, and unfortunately, we don't have a release date for FSR 3 just yet. They also unveiled a couple of brand new GPUs, the RX 7800 XT, which contains 16 gigs of memory, and the RX 7700 XT, which contains 12 gigs of memory. And both of these are under $500. The 7800 I think is $499, and the 7700 is about $449, depending on where you are. And last up here, we're talking about some fun stuff. In yesterday's video, I asked what your favorite DMC memory was, and this seemed to be the most popular answer. when Dante's voice cracks when they say light. And it's supposed to be a very serious moment, but it's hard to take that moment seriously when the voice acting, I don't want to say it was bad, it's just iconic. Now, if you head on over to the community tab on this YouTube page, we've got a poll in progress, and I may read an answer or two from there in the next video, or maybe not. Anyways, here it's an interesting situation. If all of your gaming for the next 6 months was limited to one choice below, what would you choose? 5 indie games or 1 AAA game, and with the AAA game you don't get a season's pass or DLC. If you wanted to vote in that, feel free to, and if you've got comments or thoughts in that, feel free to comment there or in the comments below in this video. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. Emulation news was a little bit light yesterday and today, so I reported on some other things I thought you might find interesting. Let me know your thoughts on anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.